Spec Ops: The Line. The story itself might be set in a war-torn Dubai, but it's the way the game forces you to confront some heavy questions about morality and leadership that makes it stand out. The gameplay, while still rooted in the traditional cover-based shooting mechanics, feels so much more engaging when you realize it's not just about killing enemies. It's about strategy and thinking on your feet. You're not alone in this, you got your squad with you, and you can actually command them in battle to help you out. That little bit of extra control over how things unfold makes the combat feel more tactical and satisfying. The use of the environment is awesome too. You'll see sandstorms roll in, wreaking havoc, and the city's ruins make for some really interesting cover choices that can change the dynamic of every fight. What's really cool, though, is how the game plays with the idea of choices and consequences. It's not just about shooting your way through enemies to the next checkpoint. Every action you take feels like it might come back to haunt you, and that adds some real emotional weight to everything you do. It's not every day a shooter makes you question if what you're doing is the right thing. And let's talk about the setting for a second. Sure, it's set in a fictionalized Dubai, but it's the sand and destruction that really set the tone. The city is in ruins, and it's like playing in an abandoned post-apocalyptic version of a once glamorous place. The way sand is used as a tactical element adds a fun layer to the combat. The thrill of charging through the streets of a Nazi-occupied Paris with a partner by your side is a wild ride. There's something about the chaos of jumping in, guns blazing, and trying to stay alive while you tear through hordes of enemies. That's exactly the vibe you get from this game. The cooperative gameplay brings a refreshing dynamic to the usual shooter experience. Whether you're teaming up with a friend or rolling with an AI buddy, there's always something fun about having backup when things get out of hand. The game lets you step into the shoes of the Blazkowicz twins, Jess and Soph, who are on a mission to track down their missing father. But the real joy comes in how you approach the world. It's a semi-open zone, which gives you the freedom to explore and discover all the little secrets tucked away in the corners. Plus, the mission structure keeps things interesting enough to feel like there's always something to work toward, even when you're just mopping up enemies in a zone. The RPG elements really stand out too. It's not just about picking up weapons and going full speed ahead. You can actually level up and tweak your characters, which adds a nice layer of depth to the gameplay. You get to make choices on how you want to play, whether it's getting up close and personal with heavy weapons or sneaking around, picking off enemies with precision. The variety of combat approaches gives it a nice replay value, letting you switch things up depending on your mood. And let's not forget the weapons. This game has a solid arsenal to keep things spicy. Jumping into a world where you can take down zombies with a custom-built dune buggy while zipping through open fields, that's exactly what you get with this game. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving, customizing, and just unleashing chaos in the most fun ways possible. The addition of the buggy is a total game changer. It isn't just a vehicle, it's a lifeline. Complete with upgrades like flamethrowers, spikes, and UV lights to take on the infected hordes, driving through the vast countryside map while mowing down zombies with your tricked-out ride, that's one of the best parts. And don't forget, you have to manage fuel and parts, which adds a bit of strategy to how you use it. When it comes to combat, you're not just swinging around melee weapons. You've got new toys in your arsenal, like crossbows and firearms, that really change how you approach the chaos. If you're the type who likes to keep a safe distance while picking off enemies from afar, the new ranged options give you plenty of room to experiment. That said, if you want to get up close and personal, the melee weapons still hold their ground, and the combat is just as satisfying as ever. For those who enjoy teaming up with friends, the co-op mode is a real highlight. You can team up with up to 4 players, making it a blast to explore, fight, and take on missions together. The gameplay isn't just about fighting, though. It's about coordination. You can share vehicles, take on the bounties, or dive into the more difficult modes like the Nightmare mode. There's something about stepping into a massive, dynamic world full of secrets and magic that makes Avowed a game you'll want to dive into. From the very start, you get the sense that the world you're in is alive and full of potential. It's a big, bold RPG, where the action never really stops, and you're constantly faced with choices that will shape your journey. Now this game is packed with that classic Obsidian magic, deep lore, rich character development, and a combat system that's actually fun to experiment with. You're in a world filled with towering castles, mysterious forests, and hidden caves. What stands out, though, is how the gameplay really lets you customize your experience. Whether you're wielding a two-handed axe or shooting from afar with pistols, you get to make the gameplay your own. The ability to mix magic with your combat style is particularly satisfying. Picture freezing an enemy in place only to charge in with a brutal sword strike. It's just one of those satisfying moments that makes the game feel both tactical and intense. What really makes this game shine is the flexibility. Whether you prefer sneaky magic tricks, quick melee combat, or taking out enemies from a distance, the game lets you adapt. The skill trees offer plenty of ways to tweak and perfect your character, letting you get deeper into the strategy of how you play. There's always something new to try, and that's where the fun really is. Borderlands 3 is the game that brings the chaos, fun, and loot-filled mayhem that fans love about the series. If you're all about grabbing a gun, blasting your way through enemies, and raking in sweet loot, you're in the right place. From the get-go, the game offers an action-packed, over-the-top experience that's sure to hook you. The mix of crazy characters, hilarious banter, and tons of weapons makes this one a blast to play. Whether you're exploring vast landscapes or fighting off hordes of enemies, there's always something exciting happening. And let's not forget the loot. Whether you're searching for that perfect gun or upgrading your gear, the rewards keep you coming back for more. The real charm of Borderlands 3 comes from its fast-paced loot shooter gameplay. Every enemy encounter feels like a chance to try out new weapons and abilities. The sheer variety of guns and mods means you'll never get bored. There's always something new to test out, whether it's a rocket launcher with explosive rounds or a rifle that shoots grenades. Each weapon feels satisfying in its own way, and that's part of the fun, getting your hands on something that totally changes how you take on a fight. As you progress, the character customization is top-notch. Whether you're in it for the explosive combat or the strategy of building up the perfect skill tree, there's room to tailor your playstyle however you like. There's something incredibly satisfying about taking control of a super soldier and charging through an enemy base, right? And that's exactly what Halo Infinite delivers. From the moment you start, it hooks you with its smooth combat and the feeling of being a Spartan, equipped with some pretty cool gear. The twist, though, is the vast open-world experience it introduces this time around. A pretty fresh approach for the series. Instead of being confined to linear paths, you get the freedom to explore the Halo Ring world, all while trying to save humanity and kick some alien butt. The Halo Infinite campaign brings Master Chief back, but this time he's got a new AI partner, the Weapon, to help him out. What really stands out is the way the world opens up. You're not just completing missions, you're out there on Zeta Halo, making decisions about where to go and what to tackle next. The introduction of the grapple shot, a tool that lets you grab and swing through environments, brings a new layer of excitement. Imagine being mid-fight, swinging up to a higher vantage point, and then unloading on a group of enemies below. It feels so fluid and natural. Combat is, of course, top-notch. The shooting mechanics are crisp, and the weapon variety keeps things fresh. Whether you're wielding a shotgun or throwing plasma grenades, the combat just clicks. And the Banished, the new enemy faction, they're tough. They know how to keep you on your toes. The AI is aggressive. There's something undeniably satisfying about mowing down massive hordes of zombies, especially when you've got a squad of friends at your back. That's exactly the kind of thrill you get when you dive into World War Z. The real kicker? The sheer scale of the action. We're talking about literally thousands of zombies coming at you at once, and it's up to you and your team to hold them off. What really makes the game stand out is how it handles those zombie swarms. It's not just a few zombies stumbling around. The game has this insane swarm mechanic where up to 1,000 zombies can be on screen at once, charging at you all at once. It's chaotic, intense, and honestly kind of exhilarating to see. You've got to be fast on your feet, constantly switching up tactics, whether you're setting up barricades or lobbing grenades into the thicks of the crowd. The classes are another fun part. You don't just pick a generic soldier, each character has a unique role that affects how the team operates. Whether you're the Hellraiser, throwing explosive traps everywhere, or the medic, healing everyone on the go, each class brings something cool to the table. It makes teamwork feel meaningful and forces you to really rely on each other, which is great for anyone who enjoys a bit of strategy mixed into the chaos. What's also cool is how the game pushes you to keep moving and thinking on the fly. You're not just walking through levels mindlessly. Each mission has its own objectives. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the kind of game that makes you forget about everything else for a while. The world pulls you in so naturally that hours just slip away. There's something special about stepping into this kind of setting, where everything feels alive, from the smallest details in the environment to the way people react to what's happening around them. It's not just a game, it's an experience, one that doesn't rush you but rewards you for taking your time. The way everything connects makes it feel like a world that exists beyond what you see on screen. Towns have their own routines, people go about their business, and even animals behave like they belong there. That attention to detail is what makes every moment feel immersive. There's always something to do, whether it's riding through open plains, getting into trouble, or just sitting back and soaking it all in. Combat is satisfying in all the right ways. Every encounter carries weight, whether it's a quick shootout or something that forces you to think on your feet. The mechanics encourage a mix of precision and strategy, and the way weapons handle makes every shot feel impactful. The Deadeye system adds a layer of control that makes combat feel even more rewarding. It's not about just being fast. It's about reading situations, making decisions, and pulling off moments that feel cinematic without even trying. The choices throughout make a difference, and that's what makes everything feel personal. It's not just about moving through a story, but about shaping the way the world responds. Greedfall is one of those games that just pulls you into a whole new world full of adventure, political drama, and, of course, tons of loot. It's an RPG that really makes you think about how to approach situations, whether you're sword fighting your way through a battle, charming your way into an alliance, or crafting the perfect gear. It's like your classic RPG, but with a fresh twist on the usual fantasy setting, which makes it feel like a bit of a breath of fresh air. The gameplay is a blast because it offers so many ways to play. Whether you're a fan of up-close and personal combat with a sword, you like picking people off from a distance with a bow, or you want to mix things up with some magic, you'll find a style that suits you. The best part is that you don't have to stick to just one. You can tweak your skills to be this jack-of-all-trades, making your approach to fights feel pretty flexible and dynamic. And speaking of flexibility, the whole diplomacy side of things is a lot of fun too. It's not just about hacking and slashing your way through problems. You can actually talk your way out of situations, make alliances, and influence factions to get what you want. That whole do I fight or talk my way through this vibe is constantly present, and it's such a cool dynamic to have in a game. The choices you make with people can change the direction of the game, which gives everything you do a bit more weight. It's like every interaction counts. Control is a game that mixes action, exploration, and a ton of supernatural chaos. You step into the shoes of Jesse Faden, a character who's trying to piece together the mysteries of a world that seems to constantly shift and change. What really makes the game stand out is how it takes the typical third-person shooter formula and adds these awesome psychic powers that make combat feel way more dynamic. The gameplay is super fun because it lets you get creative with how you approach things. You've got all these telekinetic powers like being able to throw objects around or even lift yourself up and float midair. It really spices up the combat, and the way it's mixed with traditional gunplay just makes for this fluid, action-packed experience. There's a cool balance here between blasting away with your weapon and using your abilities to control the environment around you, turning every fight into something more strategic. Another great thing is the way the game handles its environment. The oldest house, where all the action happens, is like a maze that keeps you on your toes. You're never quite sure what you'll encounter next, whether it's an unexpected fight or a hidden room with cool loot. It's a place that feels alive, with everything constantly changing, making exploration feel rewarding. What really helps the whole experience is the way it lets you build your character. There are a ton of ways to customize Jesse's powers. allowing you to focus on things like making her more agile, strengthening her telekinetic abilities, or boosting her defense. Alan Wake 2 is a game that definitely keeps you on your toes. Right from the start, you're thrown into a world that's equal parts creepy and mysterious. You get to play as two totally different characters. One of them's trapped in a nightmare dimension, the other's an FBI agent solving some seriously bizarre crimes. And guess what? Both of them have their own unique way of dealing with the chaos. The gameplay? It's like this perfect mix of survival horror and detective work. You're not just blasting your way through enemies. You've got to be strategic about your resources. Ammo, batteries, that kind of stuff. Every time you shine a flashlight on the enemies, they get weaker. But those batteries don't last forever. So it really makes you think about when to fight and when to hide. And trust me, you're going to need to hide sometimes. Now, the investigative part, that's where the game really flexes. One of your characters is all about solving crimes and piecing together clues. The other one, well, let's just say his idea of investigation is writing his way out of a nightmare. It's pretty neat how you can switch between the two and dive into completely different types of gameplay. It's like getting the best of both worlds. As you go through, you'll come across different puzzles and moments that make you feel like a detective in your own right. The clues are everywhere, and it's up to you to figure out what connects them all. One of the coolest things about this game is how it never tells you how to do your job. It just drops you into these huge, detailed places and lets you figure it all out. That's the real beauty of Hitman World of Assassination. It doesn't babysit you or hold your hand, and the freedom it gives makes every mission feel like a puzzle with 100 different ways to crack it. Every location you visit has layers upon layers of possibilities tucked away, just waiting for you to spot them. Whether it's sneaking into a private event in plain sight or turning an everyday object into the perfect tool for the job, the creativity this game sparks is honestly half the fun. Nothing beats the feeling of pulling off something that looked impossible just a few minutes ago. All because you paid attention to the small details. And the way disguises work is a masterclass in design. Swapping outfits isn't just for laughs, it's the key to moving through each area like you belong there. Every change opens new doors, gives you fresh opportunities, and sometimes even creates the most unexpected ways to reach your target. It's the kind of system that rewards curious players with clever solutions you'd never expect on your first try. Then there's the freelancer mode, which flips the usual setup on its head. Here you've got to rely on the gear you bring with you, plan around the unknown, and basically become a one-person strategy machine. It adds this extra layer of tension and forces you to think 2 or 3 moves ahead at all times. There's something ridiculously cool about hitting the brakes on a sports car, flipping a switch, and suddenly you're soaring through the skies in a stunt plane, all without a single loading screen breaking the flow. That's the kind of madness that makes The Crew 2 stand out right from the first few minutes. This isn't your usual racing game where you stick to one kind of machine or one stretch of road. The Crew 2 throws open the entire US map and lets you roam wild across highways, rivers, and skies, swapping between cars, boats, and planes anytime you feel like shaking things up. One moment you're cutting through Miami's sunlit streets in a sleek hypercar. The next, you're splashing through the Mississippi in a powerboat. And before you know it, you've traded water for altitude and you're flipping loops above the Rocky Mountains. The best part about this game is how smooth and fun that switcheroo system feels. There's no slow menus or awkward waiting. You just snap your fingers, hit a button, and your vehicle pops into place, ready to go. That little feature alone turns exploring the map into an addictive loop because the more you bounce between vehicles, the more you want to push the world's limits and find new spots to mess around. Events in the game aren't just set up for one type of racer either. The variety is nuts. One day you'll be chasing a finish line through a twisting street circuit, and the next you're hammering an off-road buggy across the desert or carving perfect lines through air race checkpoints. It Takes Two. This one is all about pure co-op magic, the kind of game that reminds you why playing with someone else can be so much fun. Every part of it is built around 2 players working together, and the way it pulls that off is nothing short of brilliant. One second you're pulling off a clever puzzle, the next you're flying, sliding, fighting, or goofing around in some wild, unexpected way. It never sticks to one idea for too long, and that's what makes the whole thing feel so fresh from start to finish. What's really cool is how smooth everything flows. One moment you're getting the hang of a new ability, the next you're combining it with your partners in ways that make you feel like the two of you just pulled off something way smarter than you expected. It never tries to overwhelm, but it definitely knows how to keep both players engaged without either side feeling left behind. The game loves variety, and it shows. No two levels are really the same, and the mechanics always match the situation in fun and sometimes ridiculous ways. Whether you're leaping around or using some quirky new gadget, there's always something clever happening in the design. It really leans into creativity without making things complicated, which keeps everything fun and light. One of the best parts is how much it encourages teamwork without making it stressful. Every challenge is built around communication, timing, and a bit of shared thinking, but the game never punishes mistakes too hard. The Last of Us is a game that has pretty much set the bar for how video games can deliver unforgettable experiences. If you're into those intense, edge-of-your-seat moments, but also love getting deep into the characters' emotions, this one hits the sweet spot. You'll find yourself in a world where the stakes are high, the action's thrilling, and the relationships are just as complex as anything you'll encounter in a good movie or TV show. Now, gameplay, it's not just about running around shooting things, though you'll definitely be doing your fair share of that. The best part, you're constantly scavenging, hunting for resources, and crafting items to get by. You'll be crafting everything from health kits to Molotov cocktails, which are super useful when you find yourself in tight spots. It's not about mindless action. You'll find yourself thinking on your feet, balancing combat and stealth, which makes the whole experience feel super rewarding. One of the coolest parts is how you'll navigate through these crazy, post-apocalyptic environments. There's something oddly satisfying about exploring abandoned buildings, figuring out where you're supposed to go, and piecing together what happened before the world turned upside down. It's like being dropped into a world that's both familiar and totally alien at the same time. And while you're out there in the wild, you won't always be alone. You've got companions who are not only helpful in a pinch, but also bring a lot of personality to the mix. Batman Arkham Knight. Let me tell you, this one is a real treat for anyone who loves action-packed gameplay and the dark, brooding world of Gotham. Imagine diving into a massive open world where you can swoop down from rooftops, taking out enemies with style while feeling like the ultimate superhero. The combat system is super satisfying, letting you unleash a flurry of punches and gadgets that make every encounter feel like a choreographed dance of justice. One of the coolest features has to be the Batmobile. It's not just a car, it's a fully fledged gadget on wheels. Zooming around Gotham in this beauty is a blast, and it's not just for show. You can blast through enemy barricades, engage in vehicular combat, and even solve puzzles that require some slick driving skills. The feeling of being in control of this iconic vehicle adds a whole new layer of fun to the game. The gameplay also has this perfect mix of stealth and action. You can choose to sneak around like a shadow, taking out bad guys silently, or go in all guns blazing. Well, not guns, but you know what I mean. Using gadgets like the Bat Claw or explosive gel feels super satisfying as you strategize your way through enemy hideouts. It's all about being the ultimate detective and tactician, which is so much fun. Exploring Gotham City is like being in a playground filled with challenges and hidden treasures. There are side missions galore, and each one feels like a mini adventure that pulls you deeper into the Batman universe. Ghost Recon Wildlands drops you right into a vast open world that's ready for you to explore. And I mean explore. This game takes place in Bolivia, where you'll be tackling missions across jungles, mountains, deserts, and cities, all in an attempt to take down the Santa Blanca cartel. The map is huge, and there's just so much to see and do. You can drive, fly, and even swim your way around, making each mission feel a bit like a mini adventure of its own. The gameplay is all about tactics, but in a way that lets you get creative with how you approach situations. You can go in guns blazing, or you can take your time, sneak around, and plan each move. There's a lot of freedom in how you want to tackle things, It's not just about shooting everything in sight. It's about choosing the right moments to strike, when to lay low, and how to work with your team for maximum impact. Speaking of the team, the game lets you go solo, but it really shines when you team up with others. You can play co-op with up to 4 players, which turns every mission into a tactical operation. You and your squad can plan your moves, coordinate attacks, or just mess around and see what happens. The game definitely pushes you to think about how you're going to work with your team, whether you're sneaking past enemies or taking out a base together. Customization is also a huge part of the experience. From weapons to gadgets to your character's skills, there's a ton of ways to make your loadout your own. BioShock. This game isn't just about shooting stuff, though don't worry, there's plenty of that. It's about diving into a world that feels both alive and decayed at the same time. You're dropped into a city beneath the ocean, where everything's gone wrong, and you're left to figure out how to survive while navigating through some seriously twisted environments. The gameplay is a blast, mixing action with strategic thinking. You've got your weapons, of course, but then you also have these plasmids, think of them like superpowers, that add a whole new layer to how you handle situations. Want to zap someone with electricity? Or maybe throw them across the room using telekinesis? The possibilities make combat feel fresh and exciting. What really stands out is how you can get creative with these abilities, combining them with your guns or the environment around you to make each encounter feel like a puzzle. And it's not just about action. The world you're exploring is packed with little stories and mysteries that keep you hooked. You'll come across audio logs, abandoned rooms, and bits of history that really flesh out the city's downfall. It's a game that invites you to explore, not just for loot, but to unravel the pieces of what's left behind. Plus, those moments when you find something new, they hit differently, like discovering a hidden treasure in a place that's falling apart at the seams. What makes it even more interesting is the moral choices. You're not just a passive observer. You get to shape the direction of the game. Alien Isolation is one of those games that just nails the art of tension. It takes what we loved about the 1979 film and turns it into a nerve-wracking, edge-of-your-seat experience. The entire vibe is pure survival horror, and if you're into games that keep you on your toes, this is it. First off, the AI in this game is wild. The Xenomorph isn't just some mindless enemy that pops up now and then. It's smart, relentless, and always adapting to how you play. If you make a lot of noise or take the same route too many times, the alien catches on. It feels like you're always being hunted, which just amps up the tension. You'll quickly realize that stealth is your best friend here. You've got to sneak around, hide, and use the environment to your advantage. Every step you take, you're wondering if you've made too much noise or if the alien is lurking just around the corner. And let's talk about the crafting system. It's not over the top or flashy, but it's so satisfying. You've got limited resources, so you'll be scavenging for parts and making everything count. Whether it's crafting a noisemaker to distract the alien or making a medkit for when things get dicey, it's all about using what you've got to survive. It's a really nice touch that keeps you invested in the gameplay. The game does a great job of making you feel vulnerable, and that's what makes it so fun. You're not some overpowered hero running through everything like in other games. You're a regular person trying to get by in a deadly situation. Hogwarts Legacy. If you've ever dreamed of hopping onto a broomstick and flying around Hogwarts, casting spells, and just fully living out your magical fantasy, this game is your ticket to all that and more. It's like finally getting to step into the wizarding world and make your own adventure, minus the whole I'm Harry Potter thing. You're this brand new fifth-year student, so no pressure, right? You're thrown into the thick of it, learning magic, discovering weird, ancient powers. Yep, you're special, and just trying to navigate life at one of the most iconic schools ever. The thing is, you're not just in class trying to survive some potion exams. Nah, you're out here fighting goblins, dealing with dark wizards, and solving magical mysteries. And you get to explore places like Hogsmeade, the Forbidden Forest, and even dive into the hidden corners of Hogwarts that we only dreamt about in the books and movies. Talk about freedom. What makes it so fun is the sheer freedom to explore and create your own magical story. You can attend classes, sure, but who says you can't ditch class for a little adventure? Pick your favorite house, Ravenclaw all day, no judgment, customize your character to your liking, and start learning spells that'll make you feel like you're truly mastering the magical arts. And combat? It's a blast. You get to fling spells like you're in a duel with the whole wizarding world. Mix it up with defensive charms, offensive curses, and even plants and creatures that have your back.